It'll take a couple minutes for them to trickle in.
Sounds good to me. Can you let me know if that's recording this one, just so I have behind the scenes footage? And not this way, but this one. Yeah, this candidly. All right, it's almost that time.
Yeah, a couple more minutes.
Oh, excuse me. The little guy was up all night.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Mother's Day breakfast class. We're here with Bernie, and Bernie's going to teach us how to make an awesome Mother's Day breakfast. And we welcome Sophie and Vicente and David and Maria and Derek. Well, some of these might be your moms, and all you other kids who have come today to learn how to make a Mother's Day breakfast. And Bernie, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Teresa. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Mother's Day class. My name is Bernie Molina, and I'm going to be teaching you all about how to make an amazing breakfast for mom. So it's good that it's Saturday morning. We get to practice a little bit today, and then tomorrow you can do the real thing. So what are we going to make today? We're going to make chilaquiles, beans, and Platanos Fritos. This is an authentic Latin breakfast that is gonna put a smile on your mom's face. Maybe you can put some flowers on there. I got my Mother's Day flowers early at the start of class, and I just thought they would be festive, but I'm gonna put them to the side for now so that we have room to cook. Okay, so just so that I understand what pace to go up, because this is your time, this is your hour, can you all let me know in the comments how many of you are cooking along in real time with us? And how many of you are watching, maybe taking notes so that you could cook tomorrow, for example? Just let us know in the comments. That will certainly help me set the pace for today. And in the meantime, I'll tell you what ingredients we need for today's class. So obviously we're going to need cooked beans. That's what we have here. En mi casa, siempre hay frijoles. There's always beans in my home. If you don't have any cooked beans, canned beans work as well. For the Platanos Fritos, you're gonna need a plátano, not a banana. This is straight from Northgate, and this is beautiful. It's ripe, and it's gonna be extra sweet. So that's a plantain. Okay. Next, we're going to need the ingredients for the chilaquiles. You could always cut up tortillas and fry them, but I love these chips from Northgate. They're just amazing. They're made for chilaquiles, ideal para chilaquiles. But honestly, I've put them in my chicken tortilla soup. I use them to make nachos just because they're so robust that they don't get soggy. So you still have a crunch, which is what I personally like. So that's what we're gonna use for our chilaquiles. Some salsa. Take some shortcuts today. I got some salsa from Northgate Market, salsa verde, the best with tomatillos. Some cheese. You can use queso fresco. This is my favorite cheese. It just melts so beautifully. Like when I've made like stuff with this cheese, and when I lift my nacho, it looks like when you get a pizza or something. Just the way the cheese strings melt. So good. And then finally, some conchas. I think a pink concha would be really nice if that's what your mom likes. These yellow ones I think are really festive, just to add some different colors to the plate. And there you have it. That's all of today's ingredients. We also need an egg for the chilaquiles, some cooking oil of your preference. Recently I did a cooking class with Plantain and grapeseed oil, and the food just came out so good that I've been using that personally. But whatever cooking oil that you prefer. And then after we're done cooking, we'll start plating everything, and I'll show you how to arrange it so that it looks extra special for mom. And okay, do we have a verdict of how many people are cooking live with us and how many people are taking us to cook later?
I think everybody's just hearing you so they could kick tomorrow.
Smart, very smart. Okay, so I'm going to preheat my pan at a medium low heat. This is just going to help to warm it up. It's always important to practice safety when cooking. So, you always want an adult with you if you're cooking with gas, with electric, whatever type of stovetop you're using. My mom always taught me that you want to preserve your pots and pans, right? So if you were to put a cold pan on instantly high heat, it could, cause some, I don't want to say rust, but it just stains the pan a little bit, and you have to really scrub it off. Whereas if you slowly warm it up, okay, then that's going to help preserve the pan's longevity, especially if you have any like Teflon or any non-stick sort of thing. because we all want to make a delicious breakfast for mom, but we don't want to ruin our pots and pans as we do it. So just start off at a medium low heat to warm this up. Okay, and we're gonna start first with the beans. So I'm gonna use this type of pan to make my beans. So what I'm gonna do, it's starting to feel a little warm. I'm just gonna evenly coat the bottom of this with cooking oil, very carefully. Just make sure it's all nice and evenly coated. Now, when it comes to beans, you can use any kind of beans. You can use pinto, black beans taste really great with fried plantains as well. It's honestly, truthfully, whatever mom likes best, okay? That looks like it's starting to warm up pretty well. So I'm just gonna pour these beans into here. And so whenever, you know, these beans have liquids, whenever you're gonna put something like that, you just wanna do a little bit at a time to test the oil. This hot plate gets hot so quickly. Okay. Now, if I were to pour all of that in at once, it's possible to puede chispear, you know, we don't want that. So we're just gonna be working very carefully. See that? Safety first. So when it comes to beans, when you're refrying them, there's no wrong way to make them. Like I like them a little more liquidy, yet chunky. My suegra likes to make them like so that all the liquid evaporates. That's what evaporation means, when all the water sort of steams off of it. My mom puts them in a blender and then they're really smooth. So it just depends. You know, I like this bean masher, again, also from Northgate. It's super traditional. And we're just gonna start mashing the beans as they go in there. So this is really fun. You know, you can use one hand or both. Of course, you could use a blender if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna mash it in my hand. Any questions so far?
No, I loved mashing beans when I was little. That's probably my first thing I was ever allowed to do.
Oh, right. Yeah, honestly, parents, I think beans are such an important staple in the kitchen. It's affordable, they're high in fiber and protein, and it's just a fun activity. Like there's how you're saying that one of the first things you did was mash. One of the first things that it was a responsibility of mine was helping my grandma pick the beans. You know, you pour them on the table and then you pick out all of the ugly ones so that when you start cooking them, from raw, they come out the best as possible. They have the smoothest texture. It always felt like a game. And then, with beans too, like you could use them to play loteria. I mean, is there anything beans can't do? My mom always taught me, si tienes frijoles en la casa, tienes comida. And it's true, like you could eat them for breakfast, like we're gonna do today. Sometimes for lunch, like if I just wanna make something quick, some people make sandwiches, I'll make a bean taco for lunch, just put beans inside of a tortilla. And they're a great side dish for dinner too. So what you want is for the beans to bubble. So I've mashed them as they're starting to heat up. We're on medium heat at this time. I'm sort of mashing and stirring. And I want this to bubble. That means that it's thoroughly heated through. So quick and easy, honestly. It's a great way to make a quick meal. Beans could be a side dish. They could be the main dish. Honestly, whatever you want. I feel like I don't get tired of beans. Like I said, I could eat pinto beans, black beans. Okay. I'm going to turn my heat off because this hot plate gets hot very quickly and therefore it cooks very quickly, which is great. And I just want you to see, I don't know if you can see that texture. They're gooey, they're mashed. I like them a little runny. Like I said, some people like the water to evaporate more, but I like them runny. So if you could hand me the big blue plate, please. I'm just going to plate these and set them to the side so that we can move on to our next step. Are there any questions so far about the bean process? Thank you.
No,
Quite simple, right?
I love beans like that. And then you put them in a tortilla. They're so delicious.
I know it's taken all of my willpower to not like you right now. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna wait till the end when everything's fully plated. I'm gonna set this to the side here, and I'm gonna give this to you. And if you can hand me the other cooking plate, that would be great. Thank you, my love. And so, boom, we've got 1/3 of the breakfast down. The pancakes. Thank you. Thanks. All right, so this pan is gonna serve two functions. We're gonna make the plantains in here, and we're gonna make the chilaquiles in here. It's really that easy. Let's get our plantains. Has anyone here in class eaten a plantain before? I grew up eating these all the time. One of my favorites. And there's a couple ways to cut the plantain. So once you peel it, you can cut it in slices lengthwise, or you can cut it in little circles like this. How do you all think we should cut them today? Do you want to see me cut it in long ways or horizontally? Your class, I'll let you all choose. Long.
Long? They want them long.
All right. So while I cut this, I'm actually going to preheat this pan as well. The same method that I told you about, just on medium low. And we're gonna, so what I did, again, you always want an adult to help you with this, but plantains are pretty soft. You could use a butter knife to cut this, honestly. Similar to a banana. So what I did is I cut a slit down the middle here, long ways. This plantain is so nice. It's like ready to be eaten. And then what I'm doing is I'm peeling it like that. Do you see that? And now my plantain is ready for me to cut it. So what I'm going to do to make it easiest to cut it lengthwise is first I'm going to cut it in half like this. You don't see that. See? And then I'm going to, now that I have a half, so with 2 halves of whole, now I'm going to cut it lengthwise. Again, you always want an adult to help you with this, if possible. All right. So now we have, honestly, these could have been a little thinner, but I like my plantain slices a little thick. So that they're crispy on the outside and gooey in the middle. So now you see we have 6 plantain slices, all just from one plantain. So that's plenty. If you were cooking for like a larger family, then you would use 2 plantains. But obviously this is a lot. Unless your mom really likes plantains, we can make all of the plantains. Okay. This is starting to warm up. So again, I'm just gonna evenly coat my pan with oil. Your favorite cooking oil. Plantains are similar to bananas in that they have potassium. It's a fruit, so you know I feel like some fancy buffets might give you like a brunch with like fruit. You know, this is our fruit for our Dia de las Madres brunch. I wonder if we say brunch in Spanish anyway. Not sure. So I'm gonna wait for the oil to heat up a little bit. Now, I'm not sticking my hand in the oil. I'm just sort of putting it at a safe distance to see how the heat is going. Are there any questions so far? Once.
No, I think it's good.
All right. Just gonna have a sip of my coffee while I wait for this to warm up. It is a morning class, you know. I need my coffee to be energetic for all of you. It needs a little bit more time. You know, I'm really excited because this is my first Mother's Day. I had a baby in August, so I couldn't think of a better way to celebrate Mother's Day than to do a cooking class, especially for kids. You know, children are such a joy in my life. And you know, my son is only 8 months. He's too little to make me breakfast. So this is gonna be my Mother's Day breakfast. You know what I mean? The really convenient thing is that I know right now the stores can be a little hectic because everyone's trying to stock up for Dia de las Madres. I actually got everything for today's class with the Pronto app. So I go to the Norwalk store and I just added what I needed to add. They told me, you know, between this and this hour, your stuff is going to be ready. I parked in parking space number 1, and then they just say, call the hotline. I called, they put the items in my trunk, totally contactless. And what I love about the customer service is that, love the Norwalk location. Yeah, it's great. And what I love about the customer service is that the gentleman who brought my items, you know, I had bought those flowers you saw, right? I mean, Northgate has beautiful flowers. So he said, are you sure you want these flowers in your trunk? Can I put them in your front seat for you if you're comfortable with that? So it's just outstanding customer service above and beyond. And it's so convenient because, like, you know, like I said, I have a little baby, so to be pushing a stroller and the grocery cart, it's just too much. So really convenient. If you need to get any of these ingredients for mom for tomorrow morning, I highly suggest the Pronto app. I believe right now it's available in Norwalk and Riverside. Is that right, Tere?
Yeah, in San Diego now.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Cool. Nice.
Yes, we're very excited. And it will be part of our new store when we open our new store in
Southgate.
yes, in next month. So very excited.
Awesome. When is the Southgate store opening?
Excuse me?
When is the Southgate store going to open?
I think the second week of June. So
Oh my
very
gosh.
excited.
I'm excited too. Wow. Okay, so my oil's ready, and I'm just making sure that my plantains are evenly coated. I'll put a spatula. It might be in the middle one there. I have a spatula here, but I don't think it's the right one for the. Maybe at the bottom. And we have the pan at medium-high heat. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And so we just want to cook this evenly on both sides until it's golden, until it has an even color. We don't want to burn these. And they need a little more time. So I'm just going to sort of make sure that they have a good amount of oil underneath them. If you're not next to one of the store locations that I mentioned for the Plantain, you could also get the stuff on Instacart. I've used Instacart before. It's really convenient as well. I mean, there's just no excuse not to make mom breakfast tomorrow.
So Bernie, if I don't have oil, can I use maybe some butter or instead of the oil?
You can. We're essentially pan frying these plantains, and you know, butter has like it smokes very easily. So butter for frying may not be ideal, but if you do it at a lower heat with the butter, and it might take a little longer, but I mean, the butter would make it taste amazing. It would make it taste delicious. So yeah, I don't see why not. You could certainly do that, especially like organic grass-fed butter. Oh, these need a little more time. Patience is key here. There we go. Great question. Are there any other questions so far, either about like the beans that we reheated or fried together, mashed, about the plantains that we're cooking here? It smells amazing. There's just, to me, like, you know, when I was growing up, my mom owned and operated a bakery. And so she worked a lot because she was la jefa to the business. And you know, I know like a lot of more Americanized families maybe enjoy pancakes and bacon, and we certainly enjoy those types of things for breakfast too. But to me, the smell of plantains and beans with like a little melted cheese on top, like, and maybe a handmade tortilla, for example, that was like, wow, Sunday breakfast. Both of my parents are home from work. You know, they work so hard to give us a quality of life and to live out their American dream. So whenever we had those moments that we were all together as a family eating breakfast, this is what I think of. Plantains, beans. This is my favorite breakfast anyway. So let's give these plantains a nice split. And so that's what you want. See how it looks? I don't know if you can really see that, but let me try this. See how that looks nice and golden? You see that? All right. So we're gonna start flipping these plantains.
They want to know if you can eat these raw.
I have never eaten them raw, so I recommend against it personally. It's not like a banana. Like a banana, you can certainly eat raw. Speaking of bananas, I'm going to be showing you all how to make Choco Bananas in an upcoming class. That should be a really fun kids class. It's a classic Salvadoran dessert. And it's like fruit and chocolate, you know, it's like probably better than other sweet treats because you still get fruit from it. So do you see how these sort of changed in color? They're golden, they're evenly golden, they're not burned. That is what we're looking for. These take a little longer to cook, but you know, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Great question about if we can eat plantains raw or not. I don't think so. I know that you can, like I believe in some parts of the Caribbean of Latin America, they eat them like candied, almost like candied yams, but it's like candied plantains. But this is how I was raised eating plantains, just like this, pan fried until golden, either cut long ways or in circles. Did you grow up eating plantains at all?
No, I've recently started eating plantains as I got older. I love to do them. That's why I was asking, because I'm more of like, I put a little bit of butter and a little bit of rum, and then I put the sugar and the cinnamon.
Wow.
But I love plantains.
That sounds really good. I gotta try that. You're over here giving me cooking tips. Was there a comment or question?
No. Feeling inspired, and they are going to attempt to do them very soon.
Awesome. Yeah, just remember, like, the thinner they are, the faster they'll cook. The thicker they are, the more time it'll take. But like I said, I like them crispy on the outside, and then they're still a little gooey in the middle. And that's how you want your plantain to look, like I showed you. It's ripe, you know, it's ready to be eaten. You don't want them too green, because they'll be less sweet. Just like a banana, right? When it's really green, it's less sweet than when it's more ripe. Okay, we're getting there. We're making some progress here. Excellent. I'm going to give these actually one more flip, just to make sure that they cook as evenly as possible. You're starting to get that golden color. Is there a question?
Can you fry a regular banana this way?
I don't think so. I mean, I know people might have made like deep fried bananas and crazy things like that. I've never fried a banana like this, but if you try it, let me know. Just do it with the safety of an adult. So the thinner ones are obviously, you know, more ready than the other ones. So I'm going to start plating some of them. This one is almost ready, but not quite. Yeah, these are ready. I'm gonna turn this off for safety and just put these on my plate. You could put them on a paper towel to sort of drain the excess oil if that's important to you. Let's see. Great, so I'm just gonna start plating these and I'll show you a little later how I plated them. Now what's great is that these plantains, though sweet, you know, they don't flavor the oil too bad. So I can use the same pan to make my chilaquiles. And since the chilaquiles from Northgate, the chips, the tortilla is already a little crispy, we don't need that much oil. So that's great. Like I said, these are the chips that we're gonna use. These don't last long in my house. That's why I had to wait till the day before class to buy them. Because if I had bought them like a week in advance, they would have disappeared. And that's the honest truth. It's so good. So what I'm gonna do here, I might just add a little more oil so that we have an even coating here. What I'm gonna do is that I'm going to evenly and carefully add tortillas all around my pan. I want to see nothing but tortillas in my pan. So that's a pretty good, again, so tempting to just not take a bite of one. Okay, so that's a pretty good amount. Again, I have my pan on medium heat. And I might sort of, I want these to get lightly coated in the oil because what we're gonna do is we're gonna scramble an egg in here. And I want the egg to scramble evenly into my tortillas. And so if the tortillas are a little bit coated in oil, then that should be really good. Any questions so far? You know, when I was an adolescent, this is one of the first things, one of the first like señora dishes I learned how to make, right? Because según yo, I was like really skilled in the kitchen making my top ramen and Campbell's and peanut butter and jelly, making my toast. You know, I thought I was so cool making those things, but this was one of the first things, you know, a meal that I learned how to cook. And I can say this because I'm a Latin mom. But Latin moms can be a little dramatic because when I made this, my mom said, "Ya no me necesitas. You don't need me anymore. You could leave my house today and you would survive." And I was like, "Mom, I'm 14. Like I still need you." And you know what? I'm 30 and I still need my mom more than ever, especially now that I'm a mom. Like this is my first Mother's Day, like I said, but I still want to think of ways to honor my mom now more than ever because now I actually know what she's been going through all these years of raising us. I'm the youngest of 5. So if anything, I have an even deeper appreciation for her now that I'm a mom. Okay, so it looks like my oil should be warm. My tortillas have been nice and coated. I might give them like a flip, to be honest.
I just love the hack. I call it, because I used to spend like an hour doing cutting the tortillas, frying them. And then one time a friend came over and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to make chilaquiles." And I saw her grab the chip bag and I'm like, that is genius. So that's my new way of doing it. I call it my hack.
It's honestly so convenient. And you know, we Latins, we're very resourceful people. Chilaquiles originated because sometimes tortillas will become a little stale, especially like freshly handmade tortillas, you gotta eat them quickly, right? But in an effort to not waste food, what we did with these stale tortillas was turn them into chilaquiles. Just like some other chefs may use like a stale baguette to make croutons for a salad, we are just as resourceful with, you know, using our tortillas for so many purposes, for tostadas, for nachos, for chilaquiles. Okay, so I'm just gonna add my egg in here. Ooh, hear that, Peter? You could beat the egg before adding it, I like to just sort of fold it in here. I would say something else as well. I don't need to season my egg, and that's what I love about this. These chips are already salted, so they have a great flavor. The salsa that I'm going to add in a little bit has a lot of flavor as well. And since, oops, we got a runaway chip here. And since this was, this oil is nice and hot, so this egg is cooking very quickly, which is what I like. Now you can use, this is another great thing, you can make this breakfast as customizable as you would like. Swap out black beans for pinto beans. Use salsa roja instead of salsa verde. I mean, really, there's no wrong way to do it. Some people like scrambled eggs. Other people would prefer an over easy egg right on top of the chilaquiles. So you can use different types of cheese. You can use crumbled queso fresco. You can use the melting cheese that I love. There's no end to the possibilities of how you can customize this. Okay, so my egg is cooked. That cooked very quickly. So now, again, you can make the salsa from scratch. I love making salsa. My cookbook has an entire section devoted to salsas, but I'm gonna be honest, Northgate makes amazing salsas caseras, and we already made beans, we made plantains. So we're gonna make salsa right now. I mean, I don't think the hour would cut it, right? And so if you wanna make your mom breakfast and you're gonna make all these special elements for her, these salsas from Northgate are a great shortcut, hack, you know what I mean? Just like using the chips as well. So I'm gonna lower this heat because when we're adding liquid to a hot pan with oil, you gotta proceed with caution. I cannot tell you the willpower it's taking me to not grab one of those chips and just eat the salsa right now because it's so good. Oh, smells amazing. Chips and salsa are my favorite snack. So I'm just gonna evenly pour this over. And I'm gonna use the whole thing because that's what gives the chilaquiles flavor, okay? And what we wanna see, we want the egg, the tortilla, and the salsa to all mix evenly. We want the tortillas to be evenly coated with the egg, with the salsa. If you see the salsa bubble, that's a good sign. That means that it cooked. Even though the salsa is obviously already cooked, but it, it warmed through to create a new meal. And this is what I love about Mexican food specifically, is that you can get pretty similar elements, tortilla, frijol, queso. You can make so many meals from it. You can make enchiladas with tortilla, cheese, and salsa. These 3 ingredients. You can make tostadas. You can make a bean tostada. You can make a bean taco with salsa. I mean, there's just so many things that you can make.
So I know you're a Selby Mex mom.
Yeah.
So do they do something like this in El Salvador? Because I know this is very Mexican type.
Yeah, so I would say a typical Salvadoran breakfast would be beans and plátanos, honestly, with some instead of queso fresco, maybe it would be queso duro crumbled on top. Maybe some crema, some salvi crema, and tortilla hecha a mano, but the tortillas there are so thick, they look like a pupusa because they're hand patted instead of pressed. And so that would be the typical, or maybe a bolillo, but in El Salvador they call it a pan francés. Oh yeah, my husband's Salvadorian. He's over here telling me I can't forget about casamientos. So yeah, we mix beans and rice, leftover beans, leftover rice. Again, so resourceful with food, right? Rice to me is like a dinner or lunch food, but we also eat it in breakfast. You can mix rice and beans. I want casamiento now. That sounds so good. And it would probably be black beans for casamiento.
Yeah, I recently, when I went to Mexico, I tried una torta de chilaquiles, which is, and it was a bolillo, like the torta, the super torta she made last week, and they had the beans, and then they had a little bit of Mexican crema, and then it had the chilaquiles in between, wow. And then the egg. It was just like, wow.
Wow, that sounds, I want that now. I want everything. I want gazamiento, I want that, and I want this. So this is just about ready. I'm gonna top it with cheese now. So cheese can burn very easily, and we want it to melt, not burn. So we're gonna lower the heat all the way. If I can, there we go. It's lowered all the way. You could even turn it off. And this is a tip my mom gave me. The residual heat is what's going to melt the cheese. More coffee to the please? Okay. Now, I love cheese, so I'm gonna add a lot of cheese to this. It's like when you're making a pizza, you just use both hands and evenly add it around. Again, you could use any cheese you want. You can use queso fresco. Thank you. So I'm gonna let that melt. In the meantime, I'm gonna put my utensils aside. Another great tip I have for you in the kitchen is to clean as you go. If you clean as you go, it's less of a chore and more fun. Okay. All right, so we're just waiting for this cheese to melt. Side. And I'm carefully going to move my hot plate over here. And what I'll show you now is how to make, how to assemble. Thank you. If you have, so fun story. I was pregnant last year for Mother's Day, and my husband got me this tray for breakfast in bed. And I'm like, but I'm not a mom yet. He said, por el favor de Dios, we'll be celebrating next year. And I'm really glad that we're celebrating this year. And then I got a little pre-Mother's Day treat last year. So if you have a tray like this, you can take the tray to your mom in bed. You don't have to. Obviously, you can have her enjoy breakfast at the table. I'll give you that too. Thank you. All right. Let me just give you some ideas on how you can assemble. I hope this is a good angle for everybody. Thank you. So here we have the breakfast. I'm just waiting for the cheese to melt. We have the beans, the plantains. You can add like, I think the whole bouquet would be a little overwhelming. So I think like maybe just one rose would be really cute. I got this rose from Northgate. Look at how beautiful that color is. I'll show you. So gorgeous. Okay. Add your concha as well. Take this that back so that we have a full view of this beautiful breakfast platter. Let's see how these chilaquiles do. Yummy. Yeah, I know. Any questions so far? See, do you see that, please?
That looks delicious.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to me. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you could also add a handwritten card to this. You can, if you got her a present, bring her breakfast with her present. Again, every mom's gonna be different. If I tried to bring my mom breakfast in bed, she would be like, en la cama no se come. Okay, so she would be like not having it. So you could always just have it ready at the kitchen table and surprise her with her bouquet of flowers, her card, her present, and this beautiful breakfast spread. You can certainly do that. Or you could surprise her in bed if that's something mom would be into. Well, here you have an absolutely delicious, authentic Latin breakfast for mom. Flavors from, you know, it could be Mexican with the chilaquiles or, you know, universally Latin, like in Central America and Mexico with the beans and the plantains. To me, it's not breakfast without a little bit of pan dulce. You could get a pink one, you could get a chocolate one. It's just really whichever one is her favorite. I thought the yellow one would add a little bit of color. would complement the plantains and the roast that I got from mom. You could also make her some coffee, either in the coffee maker or, oh my gosh, I'm dry now. Café de la olla, café de olla, excuse me. So let's give this a taste. Let's see how it tastes. So remember, the chilaquiles have the salsa, the cheese, the egg. I'm salivating, I'm so excited. It's so good. It's tangy from the salsa verde, cheesy, but it still tastes like breakfast because of the egg. How did our beans turn out? Delicious, of course, you can't go wrong with beans. I like to dip my plantain in the beans, but I'm gonna have a bite of the plantain just like that. Let's see how that's going. See that? See how we got that even, beautiful golden color across the plantain on both sides. I'm speechless.
That looks so delicious, Bernie.
It's so good.
Well,
Next we have concha, which is from Northgate, of course. Nice
I
and fresh.
love conchas.
They're my favorite. So what do you like to do? I know some people like to dip their pan dulce in the coffee. Some like to bite and sip. What do you think?
I love to put my pan dulce inside coffee and or hot chocolate.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a good one too. If your mom doesn't really like coffee, you could make her some abuelita chocolate.
Oh, Sophie likes they spread Nutella.
Oh.
You know, the other day my girls made a sandwich out of their pan dulce. They put ice cream in the middle.
Wow. I've
Yes.
actually had that before. And it's so innovative. It's like ice cream is so American, you know, and then you have the concha, which is so Mexican American. Nice. And I'm just moving around so you could really see the beauty of this tray. Look at that.
It's beautiful, but more than that, you deserve it as a new mommy. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms on the call today. I hope you guys have an awesome Mother's Day. And if you're like me and Bernie, we get a double Mother's Day this year. We get Sunday, Monday. And so enjoy it and happy Mother's Day, Bernie. May you have an awesome day. Well deserved. Your assistant needs to really celebrate you tomorrow.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited to see what he has planned. My partner.
But for right now, you could share your breakfast with me.
Maybe. I'm just kidding. I will.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Have a great weekend, everybody.